Tonight on CTV News, an entertainment icon's battling a serious illness, unforeseen circumstances slow the search for 3 fishermen, and an unexpected surprise for Christchurch firefighters.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Kia ora, good evening. Welcome to CTV News, now streaming live every night at ctv.co.nz. Well, we begin tonight with confirmation that entertainment icon John Gadsby is seriously ill with cancer. Chelsea Daniels has the latest.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. Could be upside down for all I know. For heaven's sake.
Entertainer John Gadsby's family released a statement late this afternoon confirming Gadsby has cancer. His family said it was a difficult time and they would not be releasing any details of his condition. Gadsby is one of New Zealand's best-known comedians, shooting to stardom in the late 1970s with the TV show A Week of It, followed by McPhail and Gadsby and Letter from Blanche in the 80s and 90s. Mike O'Connor first worked with Gadsby in 1978. Then over a decade later, they met again on the set of Letters to Blanche.
I shot the two entire series, the last 2 series of the show that John and Dave McPhail did as actors, and John co-wrote it, and Dave McPhail and Alan Grant, A.K. Grant, called Letter to Blanche.
Both series were about 12 episodes each, shot over 2 years. And O'Connor says that working on the show is definitely a career highlight.
In terms of comedy, I have worked on other comedy shows, not a lot of them, but that most certainly is the best one I ever worked on. And in terms of, and not only was it enjoyable, but it was also well liked by the audience.
The last time O'Connor saw Gadsby was a couple of years ago while filming in South Canterbury.
He was a lovely guy, John, very gentle guy, and just a quiet sense of humour on the personal, in real life. But and he played that sort of. He always played the foil to Dave McPhail's character, the two of them, and they were always dreaming up harebrained schemes in Letter to Blanche.
Gadsby also appeared in a number of feature films and is an accomplished writer, particularly in children's books. His family said today they were grateful for the excellent care he was receiving from the medical profession and for the good wishes and prayers from the community. Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
A police dive squad joined the search for 3 missing fishermen today. A police diving squad joined the search for 3 missing fishermen today. An unforeseen mechanical issue and weather conditions have delayed the search. The trio disappeared after their ocean fisheries trawler sunk 22 kilometres from the Riccarton river mouth on Sunday. A distress call was issued at around 4:30 that morning, and 5 divers from the National Police Squad have now joined the search. A sea and aerial search found a locator beacon, fishing bins, documents and oil from the boat, along with an empty life raft. The search for the 3 men will continue tomorrow. A local harness driver is lucky to be alive after a shock accident over the weekend. Chelsea Daniels explains.
3 wide, free falling. Oh, Emmanuel crashed to the track, turning in. Stony Air and Gabby's star went over the top, so too Maximus Prime. Nasty fall.
Harness driver Sam Otley has escaped serious injury after a crash at Methven at the weekend. Otley was released from hospital late last night and she says she's on the mend.
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm pretty sore, but probably could have been worse, so pretty lucky, I think.
And she says things could have gotten a lot worse.
I got my lower back was really sore. I got a chip fracture in a vertebrae, my lower back.
The injury will put the young driver out of action for 6 to 12 weeks.
Hopefully not. Hopefully, I want to be back as soon as I can, but you just got to play it by ear.
The accident was unavoidable, with her horse Maximus Prime having no time to react, smashing into the fallen runners in front of them at high speed.
It's just one of those freak accidents that, you never think would happen. Like, the horse in front just sort of, its legs slipped, its legs come from under it, turning for home, and the ones behind it just couldn't miss it.
And she says it was only the drivers that caught the brunt of the crash.
All horses are all right. They were fine. There's nothing wrong with them at all. It was the people that got battered and bruised.
Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
A local resident has had enough about the lack of parking in Riccarton. Chelsea Daniels explains.
Problems with parking in the streets near Westfield Riccarton is an issue again. This time, the blame is population growth in the area. The proposal to bring in angle parking on Elizabeth Street to try and curb the parking woes will be brought up in tomorrow's Riccarton-Wigram Community Board hearing.
This is the first issue that we've faced where it's resident parking rather than employees parking. This area has been known for having difficulties with parking because of the mall employees parking in residential areas. Now, this is different. This is now the intensification of this area.
In the past, difficulties on Elizabeth Street were caused by employees from Westfield Riccarton and other businesses parking on the street all day. 2-hour parking restrictions were then put in place.
We've actually got the issue of how do we solve this particular one, and the resident has suggested angle parking. So she's coming to the community board tomorrow, and we'll be asking staff to do a report on angle parking and any other options they see for solving this particular problem.
Due to population increase, Broden says more parking is needed on the street for residents.
This is now the intensification of this area, and if you look across there and across there, there's new units, 3 or 4 together, and some of them have 3 or 4 people in them. So I understand from the resident who's called me down here that all this parking is resident parking.
Broden will need the support of the board to get through her notice of motion, which she will know more about tomorrow.
We did go down angle parking or some other solution. Everyone would be consulted. So council wouldn't just take the concerns of one resident, they would then do a leaflet drop across this whole area.
She says if the staff decided to investigate, we should see angle parking in Elizabeth Street, Riccarton in about 4 to 5 months. Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
Well, still to come here on CTV News, the first ever Busca Thunder hits the city streets. Welcome back to CTV News. It's the first ever Busca-thon to hit the city streets, with more than 24 acts performing over a 24-hour period, raising money, all for a good cause. Imagine a buskers event lasting 24 hours non-stop. That was the challenge for one organisation, taking the region's many street talents around the city.
It was a huge weekend. Everyone was pretty tired by the end of it, but, you know, on a real high from just the huge amounts of support we received.
It's been a year in the making, with the plan to have 24 performers playing in 24 different venues around Christchurch.
It actually ended up being about 27 venues, and so many of them were running concurrently that it was actually 53 hours of music happening over 24, or performances happening over 24 hours. So logistically, I think we all have a new appreciation for spreadsheeting. There was like multiple spreadsheets in action, but no, it was very much a finely tuned machine.
All raising money for one of Canterbury's oldest not-for-profit organisations.
Who have been around for over 115 years operating in Christchurch. They deal with families and young people, helping them to basically have positive outcomes in their life. So dealing with people that maybe are vulnerable in some way or have had some difficulties in life, and helping them really to get to the point where they're completely able to stand on their own feet and to really kind of positively move into the future of their life.
Last year, the Home and Family organisation purchased the convent of the Community of the Sacred Name, badly damaged in the earthquake. The money from the event will go towards restoring the historic building. That'll be used for their headquarters.
In terms of venues, we had everybody from supermarkets and hardware stores to bars to concert venues to the casino to the Restart Mall, you know, just everything across the board as much as you can imagine. So we really tried to spread that net far and wide, and the same with our performers. So we had performers as young as 6 and as old as, well, older than 60 anyway.
The group needs around $3.5 million to bring it back up to scratch, raising around $1 million already. There's still some counting to do from the weekend to see how much they raised, but there could be another event like this in the future. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. Well, good news for the East. Nearly 5 years after the February quake destroyed the Redcliff's New World, its doors are about to open again. Around 100 staff will work at the store, most of them new, as around 90% of the original staff are now employed at other New World branches in the city. The New World on Main Road will officially open at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Well, crowds flocked to Christchurch Police Station at the weekend, but there were no riots. Laura Twyman went along to their annual open day.
A family fun day out, complete with a sausage sizzle and stickers. With gates thrown open at the Christchurch Police Station, over 1,000 curious locals took a peek behind the scenes.
Today is all about the community, and it's all about policing, demonstrating to the community our capacity and making sure that the public know what the police can do and ensuring that they feel safe because they can see some of our capability.
It's the second year in a row the public's been invited in, giving people from all walks of life the chance to understand elements of policing and get up close and personal with the team.
I'm hoping Canterburyans will see that the police are there to help them, that the police are available, that we are part of the community, we're not out of the community.
Young ones had plenty to do, from trying on the kit for size to sitting in the driver's seat. Some even stepping up to test out their own policing potential.
I've been on the PCT, which is our competency test. We've broken it down to a number of components, and it's been really good watching them have a go at everything. They've tried the windows, running around cones, and then we've had the speed camera at the end where they can test themselves against their friends.
All this encouraging a positive relationship between our future leaders and the crew in blue.
I think the open day is really good to see what policemen do as a job.
We went to the tasers and they showed us how the taser works. Well, I've been in a cell.
To be a policeman's harder than I thought, yeah.
I love it.
If I was allowed, I'd come every day.
With smiles all round, days like this will be back on the beat. Laura Twyman, CTV News.
Well, now we cross to the newsroom for what's happening in your neighbourhood.
Thanks, Jared. I'm Bridget Rutherford. Busy Church Corner is about to get a small hotel. Foundation work has started on the 20-unit two-level building on Yaldhurst Road across from St Peter's Anglican Church. The hotel will have short-term budget room rental aimed at tourists, according to the City Council resource consent. The ground floor will have a restaurant and parking, with the units on the first floor along with the manager's residence. But it appears the hotel has gone under the radar of the local community board because it was a non-notified consent. Riccarton Wigram Community Board Chairman Mike Mora says the board had no knowledge of the hotel going in, and he was annoyed it was granted as a non-notified consent. Buses to and from Littleton are now more in sync with the Diamond Harbour ferry timetable. People using the ferry have been complaining the buses didn't arrive or leave Littleton around the same time. This meant long waits, particularly in the winter, in the cold. More demand for ferry services has also been a factor in the bus changes. Fundraising for the Sumner Volunteer Fire Brigade's new four-wheel drive vehicle has gone up a gear with a $10,000 donation. The vehicle will cost $35,000 and is needed to replace its other off-road vehicle. A donation from a Sumner family who want to remain anonymous takes the fundraising total to $19,000. Other large donations have been a $5,000 one from the Sumner Redcliff's RSA Welfare Fund, while $2,500 came from the SJ Charitable Trust. A new supermarket in West Melton and a retail centre in Rolleston are proposed for the booming Selwyn district. Gilman Whelans has applied for resource consent for a new supermarket and commercial centre on the corner of Iris Taylor Ave and State Highway 73. It comes after news earlier this year that plans for a Progressive Enterprises supermarket at another yet-to-be-developed shopping centre in the area had been canned. Rolleston Retail and Aldermoss Investments have applied for resource consent for a retail centre on Macefield Drive. The new $190,000 Clear Park playground in Shirley that was supposed to open in June has finally been completed. City Council Assets and Networks Unit Manager Chris Gregory says initially there was a delay in the delivery of some of the playground equipment, which held up the project. The playground is now officially open to the public. The previous playground was built in the late 1970s, but had passed its 25-year expiry date. From the newsroom, I'm Bridget Rutherford.
Thanks for that, Bridget. We're still to come here on CTV News, Sport and your local weather forecast. Welcome back to CTV News, and just a reminder, you can tune into CTV News every night online at ctv.co.nz, and you can also catch this bulletin again too at 6:30 and 9:30 p.m. Right, let's go to Gordon Findlater now with the weekend's local sporting action.
AMI Stadium will host this year's provincial rugby final after Canterbury got the job done against Taranaki on Saturday. There was to be no repeat of Taranaki's round-robin victory at Christchurch, with the Red and Blacks ensuring the visitors didn't get the same early points they were afforded 3 weeks prior. A steady start to Saturday's match saw Canterbury take the early lead through a string of penalties before Rob Thompson got the home side's first try before the break to set up a 19-8 half-time lead. The start of the second 40 saw Canterbury kick into top gear, and Mitchell Suckling was the first to benefit. Ryan Crotty pounced on a loose Taranaki ball before sending the speedy winger on his way. Taranaki then answered back through Kurt Baker before a second Rob Thompson try with less than half an hour remaining gave Canterbury a 23-point advantage, all but booking their spot in the final. The Red and Blacks would go on to score 2 further tries, cementing a dominant performance. Canterbury's opposition for this weekend's final will be longtime rivals Auckland, who accounted for Tasman 44 points to 24 at Eden Park. Well, to Rugby League now, and Counties Manukau ensured that there would be no back-to-back national title for the Canterbury Bulls. The provincial final at Mount Smart saw the Bulls start well, however they struggled to convert opportunities into points, while Counties' big forwards proved to be too much to handle. A flurry of points either side of half-time was to be the clincher for Counties, with Canterbury unable to mount anything of substance inside their opposition's 20. The final score in Auckland, Counties 41, Canterbury 10. To cricket, and Canterbury's defence of the 4-day Plunket Shield First Class competition didn't get off to a bright start, with Gary Stead's boys dealt a 9-wicket loss to Auckland. Canterbury were the first to bat on day 1, and Black Caps paceman Mitchell McClenaghan wasted no time getting stuck into his work, grabbing the wicket of Tom Latham, his first on the way to a 4-wicket innings as Canterbury were dismissed for 149. In reply, the home side put on 316 to hold a healthy first innings lead before Canterbury made 321 in their second at bat. Chasing 155 for victory, Auckland never looked in doubt, with Martin Guptill notching an unbeaten 84. Canterbury now return home for their second Plunket Shield game against Otago, starting this weekend at Hagley Oval. And finally tonight, the Mainland Pride made it 2 from 2 in their defence of the National Women's Football League with a commanding 4-1 victory over Central. Pride midfielder Emma Proctor got 2 goals on the day as her side enjoyed their first game of the season at ASB Football Park. Well, you're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Findlater for CTV Sport.
And still with sport, the City Council's under fire for turning the city's only athletics field into a soggy swamp, ruining the first day of the athletics season for around 500 children. Athletics Canterbury were forced to cancel its opening day due to the council failing to turn off the field's watering system. Saturday's event had to be cancelled due to slipping danger for athletes and the chance of causing damage to the field. Right, now let's take a look at your region's weather forecast.
Kia ora Canterbury. Well, it was mainly fine today, a little bit fresher though with southwesterly winds for most places. We are actually expecting a bit of an unsettled week. Generally fine, but we'll get to that. 18 degrees was the high for Timaru and 16 for Temuka, Geraldine and Twizel. Central Canterbury, Christchurch, you were also on 16 degrees, along with Darfield and Methven. 17 though for Akaroa, Leeson and Ashburton. Heading further north, Kaikoura, actually a little bit cooler. 14 degrees for you and 15 there for Cheviot, Amberley, Rangiora, Culverton. 16 though for Hammer Springs and Oxford. Over to the Alpine region now. Sunshine for you guys here and 10 degrees for Arthur's Pass, 14 for Lake Tekapo. Now tomorrow we're expecting beautiful blue skies. Timaru expect 20 degrees for your high with northerly winds, 7 for that overnight low, and look at that sunshine. Heading to Ashburton now. Similar picture, if not the same picture for you. 20 degrees there with 7 for your overnight low and those northerlies developing throughout the day. Christchurch, a beautiful day for the Garden City. 20 degrees for you and northerly winds breezing through as well. Looking to Kaikoura now. Sunshine with a few cloudy patches here and there. Mild conditions though and 19 degrees for your high with northerly winds. The rest of the Canterbury region, you can also look forward to that sunshine. Northerlies for you guys South Canterbury. 21's the high there for Waimate and Twizel. Looking to Central Canterbury now. Northerlies breezing through for Akaroa, Leeson and Methven. Darfield 20 degrees for your high. Leeston same for you and Akaroa as well. 19 there for Methven. Heading further north, sunshine and light winds for most places apart from Hammer Springs with a few northerlies breezing through. 19's the high though for Cheviot, Amberley and Rangiora and 18 for Culverton. Over to the Alpine region, a little bit of 16, 17 and 18 for you guys. Looking ahead though, Wednesday we're expecting a few gusty to gale northwesterly winds, particularly for the high country and upper Canterbury Plains areas. 23 degrees so for Christchurch and 22 for Ashburton and Timaru. Flipping over now to Thursday, a little bit unsettled on Thursday, northwesterlies and fine in the morning. However, from midday we're expecting a southerly change and a few showers coming with it. Could be a few heavy rainfalls on Thursday afternoon and evening. On Wednesday though, expect those northwesterly winds for most places, mainly dry and fine, just a few showers here and there for inland places. On Thursday we are expecting there could be a few heavy rainfalls. So watch that midday mark. We're expecting it to start from the south and work its way further north, and we could be seeing some significant rain on Thursday. Over the next few days though, we are expecting that sunshine and mainly dry fine weather. Could be a little bit of an unsettled week though, so we'll keep you updated, particularly with that rain supposed to be coming through on Thursday. That's your update though for Monday.
Thanks for that, Mercy. Well, finally tonight, something a little cute and fluffy. Firefighters spent around 2 hours pulling 7 ducklings to safety from a wastewater system in Woolston. They fell down the drain while following their mother across the road, and the ducklings were spotted by nearby movers. Firefighters managed to rescue 7 of the 9 ducklings, however the other 2 didn't make it. Laura Thomas from the moving company says she'll look after the ducklings before she decides what to do with them. So there you have it, and that is CTV News for Monday. You can find all our stories and bulletins on demand at ctv.co.nz. But for now, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jared McCulloch. Have a great evening.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.